I wonder whether I could ask about Jamie Vardy and his hamstring. How's he doing in that recovery at the moment?
Yeah, Jamie will be out for a number of weeks. So yeah, it's been unfortunate for him, but yeah, we're probably looking up to 8 weeks, so he'll be out for a period of time.
It's a long list as well, with a lot of other players unavailable. From the list that you've given us in previous weeks, are there any of those that are set to return this weekend?
No. There's no none of the players that have been out or will be back for the weekend.
Okay. I have to ask you as well about the two fixtures that have been added in over the next couple of weeks. Everton next Tuesday, Spurs the Wednesday after. I know you've spoken about this before, the idea of it happening, and now it has. I wanted to ask you, is it right to be asking you and other clubs, I suppose, to play these fixtures now with the Africa Cup of Nations off the back of a really busy period in December with COVID cases? Is it right of the Premier League to ask you to play in these fixtures?
Well, I think, to be fair, I don't want to keep saying and repeating the same message. I think I'd mentioned it before. I didn't think it was right, so I don't want to keep whining and moaning and whatever. So I just think it's something that I felt that was going to be a difficult challenge for lots of teams, and obviously from our own perspective, a huge challenge. I felt that January was a month would have been given clubs opportunities to allow players to recover, either from COVID or players that have been playing the number of games because of players that have had COVID. That this would have been a month that we could have given them the chance to people to get back fit and healthy, and then move into February and we can get the games in and get squads back healthier and fitter, and then finish off a season with as many players fit and available as possible.
Clearly, this is an FA Cup game this weekend, and 8 months on, it almost feels strange that it's already been 8 months since that historic day in May last year. How do you look over the last 8 months, and I suppose that day as well, and kind of what's happened since then? Because it's been a roller coaster, of course, but 8 months since that historic day seems crazy.
Yeah, it was such a memorable competition for us to have won it for the first time in the club's history. Clearly was amazing, and again, such illustrious opponents as well, and obviously for the fans being there, which was great. So the memory will be with us all for a lifetime. It'll connect us all, players, supporters, staff, everyone. But now it's the beginning of it again, and now it's not about defending it, but it's about winning it. So we obviously go into that game tomorrow with a very strong mindset to look to go on and win the competition again if we possibly can.
What kind of test do you expect from Watford this weekend, Brendan? I suppose what you might have learned from them a little earlier on in the season when they came to King Power Stadium in that 4-2 victory.
Yeah, I think you've seen both sides of Watford. You've seen that they can score goals, they can concede goals, but they have players that are dangerous players. So our focus is just preparing for a really tough game. We've obviously, like we say, we're going to have to adapt the team and with the squad that we have, but we go into it looking to win the game and ultimately qualify for the next round.
The fans, and you've sort of mentioned about wanting to go into the competition to win it and not just defend it, but the fans will have higher hopes following last season's triumph as well. I wonder, finally, Brendan, what your message would be to them ahead of the start of the tournament for this season.
Well, the same message as before. It's always great for supporters to dream, and they would have dreamt that last season of winning it, and we did do, and it was such a special occasion and an incredible memory for them. And this year we'll be doing exactly the same. We from the first game in it, we'll be fighting and looking to qualify into the fourth round. So we will need their support like we had in our last home game. That's what we want from the supporters. It really pushes the team, and hopefully together we can go a long way.
Brendan, thank you very much, and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Owen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve, ITV Central.
Hiya, Brendan. Good to see you.
Hiya, Steve.
With being being cup holders, does that increase the pressure on you in these sorts of games?
No, I don't think so. I think it just gives you that extra feeling and motivation and commitment to want to go as far as you possibly can. We had an incredible experience last season, going right the way through, and like you say, the final, which became the fans' final. Really, it was such a special feeling. So yeah, it was. It's something that we want to replicate. As often as we possibly can. Getting to Wembley is an incredible feeling, but yeah, we're a long way from that yet. It's about the next step and the next game, so we can beat Watford. That gives us an opportunity to get back there.
When you're approaching a game, we all look at obviously the recent form, but it was such a mad week or so over Christmas results-wise for you, wasn't it? You take it all into account. What's the feeling amongst the players after 3 extraordinary games, really?
Yeah, well, the Man City Liverpool back-to-back was, the Liverpool win was a superhuman effort by the players physically, what they had to contend with in the game and the lead up to it, and with everything else surrounding it. What they put into the game was just absolutely incredible. So it tells you everything about the resilience of this team and the spirit within the team. So that when they're challenged and all the difficulties that we've had, that they can produce a result like that. So, and we're going to need more of them going forward, because we, like I say, we need to keep that spirit, we need to keep that mentality, and with a bit of luck, hopefully get more wins.
All right, Brendan, good luck. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Okay, Rob.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Rob.
Listen, without wishing to depress the living daylights out of you, can I go through some more specifics about the absences, if that's okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no.
Did you say Vardy was 8 weeks?
Yeah, could be up to that. Yeah. We were looking. He's obviously at the higher end of his hamstring. So, yeah, you're looking into March for Jamie.
Might he need an operation?
He doesn't know. That was the only good news from it, that he wouldn't need that.
Right. Okay. Soyuncu and Jonny Evans, we thought might be back in the next week or two. You're saying they're not ready yet. Are they close? Are they training with you again?
No, Jonny Evans has just had an operation, so he'll be April. So he'd obviously, with his hamstring and whatnot, so he's needed that. And Soyuncu, no, you're probably looking towards Burnley for Cags. So good news with that. He'll hopefully be back for then. Jonny, not so good, because he'll probably be around April time.
Ryan Bertrand was close to a return, but he's still not ready.
No, he's still not ready. He's got an ongoing issue with the meniscus in his knee, so he's getting that looked at by a specialist again this morning, and then we'll know more after that.
And Ricardo, you said, was mid-Feb, so I won't waste your time on him. But Fofana and Justin, I mean, Justin's been training again and looking for some game time, hasn't he? What's the prognosis for those two, please?
Yeah, well, JJ will play. There's an under-23 game tomorrow, so he'll play in that. So all being well, he'll come through that, and then we'll look at it going into next week. But yeah, if we get him back, then that's going to be a huge boost for us. He's a top-class player, and been a long road for him, but again, we just have to be careful with him also.
Yeah, and Daka finally, again, we thought middle of this month, hopefully. I think his was a hamstring problem as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're looking more towards Burnley for him. So hopefully they'll be back then.
Look, the window's open, and I know it's difficult. The club, didn't want to spend an awful lot of money in this window. I don't think there's a huge amount of money available, but I know you've been looking for a centre-back on loan if you possibly can. The Jonny Evans situation has changed since we last asked you about that. That makes that need pretty urgent now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly something that we need to look at, Rob. We obviously, the players that have been filling in that position are obviously away now in the African nations. So it doesn't give us a lot of cover. So that's something that the club are working very, very hard to see what we can do. And like you say, we there's not an endless pot of money here. So but we have to obviously look at that and see what we can bring in.
Last one from me. I just wonder how you and the rest of the recruitment team are finding the window at the moment because of COVID, because of the injuries that every club's got, not just in this country but abroad as well. You need a defender that can come in and play straight away. Is that proving difficult to find? And are you finding that other clubs are maybe battening down the hatches a little bit and not letting players leave?
Well, there's certainly the players that we will look at. Of course, January is always a difficult market, but certainly for centre halves, it is a key position in any team. And I've always said it, in order for consistency in any level, but in particular in the Premier League, in order to be consistent, your two centre halves are absolutely critical for you in order to get that. I think we've seen that over the course of this season. Our results have been a little bit inconsistent. Lots of changes in our defensive sort of structure, really, and lineup. So, but that is important. It's important for every club. But we'll just see that there's obviously a little bit of time, but for us, it's a little bit more pressing. So we have to see what we can do, and somewhere along the line, you have to compromise, maybe, in terms of to get the type and the profile that you need for your team. But also we know that we will have guys coming back at the beginning of February that can also support and help us as well. So but we're working very hard behind the scenes to try and provide that cover that we need.